Hi everyone, it is Atia here at Booking In with Atia. Welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be getting into my fall priority TBR. So happy fall, happy autumn if you are in the Northern Hemisphere. And yeah, these were the books that I want to prioritize this season. It's my favorite season of the year. And so I collated 24 titles containing backlist as well as new and upcoming releases that I want to get to during the fall season. And if you see me looking to the sides, because I actually have the synopses brought up, and like I do in my recommendation videos and other TBRs, I'm not going to read, oh, as well as my hauls, I'm not going to read the entire synopsis of the books unless it's a really short synopsis. I'll probably read like the first paragraph or so. But yeah, we're going to dive right in. But before we do, I do want to make sure that you know that I have a Etsy shop where I sell bookmarks. Make sure to check that out, and you can support a up and coming disabled Black millennial who's just literally trying to make it in this world. Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump right in. Before I get into all of the books, I do want to mention the readathons that I'm participating in the fall season. There's 6 on this list. The first one is actually happening like right now because I'm filming in September, and that is the Mystic Readathon hosted by Nell at Nell's Next Chapter. And then there are 4 happening in October that I'm participating in that I'm super excited about. We have TBR Harvest, which is by Leandra at the TBR Zero, Fablin, which is by Margaret at The Word Nerd, Scarathon by Jessica just at This Kiwi, and then Spooktacular by Paco at Bad Witch Books. And then in November, I'll be doing NetGalley November, which is by Nicola Dusty Book Sniffers and Coda at your booktube bestie. I'm super excited. I really do love the readathons, especially the competitive ones. And yeah, I'm excited. The first book on this list, actually, I've split it, like I said, into 2. So we have backlist and we have new and upcoming releases. We're going to start with the backlist, the 12 that are on that list. And the first one is actually Jazz by Toni Morrison. And it says, in the winter of 1926, when everybody everywhere sees nothing but good things ahead, Joe Trace, middle-aged door-to-door salesman of Cleopatra Beauty Products, shoots his teenage lover to death. At the funeral, Joe's wife, Violet, attacks the girl's corpse. This passionate, profound story of love and obsession brings us back and forth in time as a narrative is assembled from the emotions, hopes, fears, and deep realities of Black urban life. I know that's going to be some mess, but I'm here for it. Next up on the backlist portion of the list is Chain Gang All Stars by Nana Kwame Ajeti Brunya. In Cape, prisoners travel as links in chain gangs, competing in death matches before packed arenas with the righteous protesters at the gates. Thurwar and Stax, both teammates and lovers, are the fan favorites. And if all goes well, Thurwar will be free in just a few matches, a fact she carries as heavily as her lethal hammer. As she prepares to leave her fellow links, Thurwar considers how she might help preserve their humanity in defiance of these so-called games. But Cape's corporate owners will stop at nothing to protect their status quo, and the obstacles they lay in Thurwal's path have devastating consequences. I did start this I think when it first came out, and for some reason I just never got back into it, but I'm excited to finally get to this one. Then we have The Creeping of Dogwood House by Eden Royce. This is a middle grade gothic horror. At night, Rhodey still dreams of sitting at his mother's feet while she braids his afro down, but that's a memory from before. Before his mom died in a tragic accident, before he was taken in by an aunt he barely knows, before his aunt brought him to Dogwood House, the creepiest place Rhodey has ever seen. It was his family's home for over 100 years. Now in the house, abandoned and rotting, draped in Spanish moss that reminds him too much of hair, is his home too. Ugh. Eden Royce just is an incredible writer. I love her middle grade. Then we have This Cursed House by Del Sandine. In this Southern Gothic horror debut, a young Black woman abandons her life in 1960s Chicago for a position with a mysterious family in New Orleans, only to discover the dark truth. They're under a curse and they think she can break it. What? Another one that keeps coming back on Libby, and I just keep sending it back, so I need to get to it. Next up, we have Harlem Shuffle. This is number 5 of 12 in the backlist category, and this is by Colson Whitehead. To his customers and neighbors on 125th Street, Carney is an upstanding salesman of reasonably priced furniture, making a decent life for himself and his family. He and his wife Elizabeth are expecting their second child, and if her parents on Strivers Road don't approve of him or their cramped apartment across from the subway tracks, it's still home. Few people know he descends from a line of uptown hoods and crooks, and that his facade of normalcy has more than a few cracks in it. Cracks that are getting bigger all the time. Cash is tight, especially with all those installment plan sofas. So if his cousin Freddie occasionally drops off the odd ring or necklace, Ray doesn't ask where it comes from. He knows a discreet jeweler downtown who doesn't ask questions either. Then Freddie falls in with a crew who plan to rob the Hotel Teresa, the Waldorf of Harlem, and volunteers Ray's services as the fence. The heist doesn't go as planned, they rarely do. Now Ray has a new clientele, one made up of shady cops, vicious local gangsters, 2-bit pornographers, and other assorted Harlem lowlifes. Thus begins the internal tussle between Ray the Striver and Ray the Crook. Okay. I've read 2 Colson Whitehead, The Underground Railroad and The Intuitionist, and I enjoyed them both, so I'm looking forward to reading this one. Then we have The Follower of Flowers, which is book 2 in the Flowers of Prophecy series by Natalia Hernandez. I'm not going to read the synopsis to this one because it is a sequel and I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but yeah, I was intrigued by the first book. I like the first book, hence why I want to continue with the series. And I guess I can give you like, how do I do this without spoiling it? The first in the series is called The Name Bearer, and it is a lyrical YA fantasy about forging identity when destinies collapse, found family, sapphic love, and the ache of chosen purpose. So I definitely recommend it to check it out. Then we have Zara, which is the first book of the Guardians of the Dawn series by S.J. Jones. Sailor Moon meets Cinder in Guardians of Dawn Zara, the start of a new, richly imagined fantasy series by S.J. Jones, the New York Times best-selling author of Winter Song. Magic flickers, love flames, chaos reigns. Magic is forbidden throughout the Morning Realms. Magicians are called abomination and blamed for the plague of monsters that razed the land 20 years before. Jin Zara already had enough to worry about: appease her stepmother's cruel whims, looking after her blind younger sister, and keeping her own magical gifts under control, without having to deal with the rumors of monsters re-emerging in the marsh. But when a chance encounter with an easily flustered young man named Han brings her into contact with a secret magical liberation organization called the Guardians of Dawn, Zara realizes there may be more to those rumors than she thought. A mysterious plague is corrupting the magicians of Zanhe and transforming them into monsters, and the Guardians of Dawn believe a demon is responsible. In order to restore harmony and bring peace to the world, Zara must discover the elemental warrior within, lest the balance between order and chaos is lost forever. Doesn't that just sound like so good? Also, I love the cover. I don't know if it's a trilogy, like just a trilogy. Oh, look, there's a 4th book there. So the 3rd book recently came out. I have all 3 books, so I just need to so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to reading that. I hadn't read the synopsis in quite a long time. Then book number 8 is Tender Beast by Lizelle Sambury, another auto-buy author for me. Absolutely love her writing. After her private school is rocked by a gruesome murder, a teen tries to find the real killer and clear her brother's name in this psychological thriller perfect for fans of The Taking of Jake Livingston and Ace of Spades. That's all I need to know. I'm not going to read the rest of the synopsis. First of all, love The Taking of Jake Livingston and Ace of Spades. So if you haven't read those 2, definitely go do it. But Lizelle Sambury just has such a way with horror. I loved, oh, I just forgot the name. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's called Delicious Monsters. I absolutely loved that. And that was her first like foray into horror. So I'm looking forward to seeing how she built on that. Next up, we have The Trees by Percival Everett. I meant to read this last year. It didn't happen, so it's going on this list. An uncanny literary thriller addressing the painful legacy of lynching in the US. Percival Everett's The Trees is a page turner that opens with a series of brutal murders in the rural town of Money, Mississippi. When a pair of detectives from the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation arrive, they meet expected resistance from the local sheriff, his deputy, the coroner, and a string of racist white townsfolk. The murders present a puzzle, for at each crime scene, there is a second dead body, that of a man who resembles Emmett Till. What? What? The detectives suspect that these are killings of retribution, but soon discover that eerily similar murders are taking place all over the country. Something truly strange is afoot. Whoa. Okay, I'm not going to read any more of that. Just definitely going to be tough to get through, but also I like the mystery aspect of it. I'm intrigued by that to see like how he does that. Then we have The Between by Tananarive Due, another brilliant author, another favorite. A brilliant novel of horror and the supernatural, in which a middle-class family's very existence is threatened by inner and outer demons. When Hilton was just a boy, his grandmother sacrificed her life to save him from drowning. 30 years later, he begins to suspect that he was never meant to survive the accident, and that dark forces are working to rectify that mistake. When Hilton's wife, the only elected African American judge in Dade County, Florida, begins to receive racist hate mail from a man she once prosecuted, Hilton becomes obsessed with protecting his family. Soon, however, he begins to have horrible nightmares, more intense and disturbing than any he has ever experienced. Are the strange dreams trying to tell him something? His sense of reality begins to slip away as he battles both the psychotic threatening to destroy his family and the even more terrifying enemy stalking his sleep. Also, the cover is just really cool. Very like avant-garde art. Like I'm trying to decide what art style this reminds me of. I guess surrealism. It really reminds me of like surrealist art and like Dada and things like that. Next up, we have Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, another fantastic author. Let's see. From the New York Times bestselling author of The Daughter of Dr. Moreau and Mexican Gothic comes a fabulous meld of Mexican horror movies and Nazi occultism. A dark thriller about the curse that haunts a legendary lost film and awakens one woman's hidden powers. Montserrat has always been overlooked. She's a talented sound editor, but she's left out of the boys club running the film industry in 90s Mexico City. And she's all but invisible to her best friend Tristan, a charming if faded soap opera star, though she's been in love with him since childhood. When Tristan discovers his new neighbor is the cult horror director Abel Loretta, and the legendary auteur claims he can change their lives, even if his tale of a Nazi occultist imbuing magic into highly volatile silver nitrate stock sounds like sheer fantasy. The magic film was never finished, which is why Loretta swears his career vanished overnight. He is cursed. Now the director wants Montserrat and Tristan to help him shoot the missing scene and lift the curse. But Montserrat soon notices a dark presence following her, and Tristan begins seeing the ghost of his ex-girlfriend. What? As they work together to unravel the mystery of the film and the obscure occultists who once roamed their city, Montserrat and Tristan may find that sorcerers and magic are not only the stuff of movies. Whoa. Okay. Then last up on the backlist section of this TBR is The Weight of Blood, which I actually did like a soft DNF a few years ago. I got like 40% into it and I was like, I'll come back. I was not in the headspace for it, but I do want to return. And this is by Tiffany D. Jackson. All I know or like remember is that it is a retelling of Carrie, Stephen King's Carrie, but the protagonist is a biracial Black girl. And there's like fire and there's prom night and things like that. And I kind of don't want to read the synopsis because I want to go into it not really remembering much. I find that that's really exciting for thrillers and horrors that have been on my TBR for a while, because there's a reason why I put it on the list in the first place. And I always knew that I wanted to come back to The Weight of Blood. Now, moving on to the new and upcoming releases section of my fall TBR. These are books that came out this year and are coming out later in the year that I want to get to. The first one being The Ghost of Gwendolyn Montgomery by Clarence A. Haynes. In a fast-paced, sexy, ghostly adventure, a publicist at the top of her game must confront her secret, mystical past. To be a client of Gwendolyn Montgomery's, New York's most powerful publicist at Sublime Media, is to be infused with a certain oomph, a mysterious glamour. She seems to have created the ideal life with her handsome new boyfriend, the perfect match. But Gwendolyn has a secret. She's a mystical practitioner who can tap into the interdimensional, metaphysical realm of the dead known as El Intermedio. Gwendolyn has hidden her powers, buried her old life, and started anew. This synopsis is different than what's on the book. I did not know that tidbit about mystical practitioner. And now I kind of don't want to read the rest of the synopsis. Interesting, because I feel like it's going to give away much more than the one on the book does. But yeah, I love the cover, first of all, and have wanted to read it since I got it in my hands. I was sent a finished copy back when it was coming out in June, and I just need to circle back around to it and finally read it. Then we have Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. All I know is that this is a retelling of, I believe, Dante's Inferno. Yeah, Dante's Inferno, but with an academic twist, like a dark academic twist. And I believe there's a student who is following or tries to save, two graduate students must put aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. I'm so excited for this. It's already out, but I have a copy coming later on. I'm excited. So excited. Then we have Somadina by Okweke Emezi. From the National Book Award finalist and author of Pet comes a novel set in a magical West African world about a teen girl who must save her missing twin while learning to navigate her own terrifying powers. Somadina and her twin brother, Jaya Ike, are practically the same person. They finish each other's sentences and make each other whole. When the twins come of age, their magical gifts begin to develop. But while Jaike's powers enchant, Somadina's cause fear to ripple through her town. Always an outsider, Somadina now faces blatant and dangerous hostility. And things go from bad to worse when her brother, the one person she trusted, vanishes. Somadina knows that no matter the dangers, she must track him down, even if it means entering the sacred forest, even if it means grueling otherworldly travel she may not survive, even if it means finding the hidden places where those closest to the spirit world don't dare to go. Does Somadina have the strength within her body and her soul for the trying journey ahead? I'm looking forward to this. Also, another absolutely gorgeous cover. Next up, we have Matriarch by Tina Knowles. This is Miss Tina's memoir. I feel like that's really that is the synopsis. Nonfiction are so easy to talk about because their title and or their author tell you what you need to know. I started it. I read the first 8 pages and I was like, okay, I gotta come back to this. But I'm ready to dive in fully and truly and dedicate some time to getting to know Mother Tina, honestly, and little girl Tina, and just how she grew up and became the Tina Knowles. Then we have a sequel, Nick Blake and the Remarkables, Book 2, which is the book of Anansi. I'm trying to, again, it's a sequel, and when did the last one come out? It's been quite a while. Okay, never mind. The Manifest of Prophecy came out in 2023. I don't know why I thought it was 2020, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to finally diving into this second book. This is middle grade fantasy. It follows a Black girl, very unique and inventive world and magic system. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Angie Thomas builds on what she introduced in the first book. Then we have Solving for the Unknown by Lone Lee. I definitely have talked about this because I hauled it a few months ago. In this sweet, incredibly heartfelt companion to a faux love story, Vietnamese Americans Viet and Evie juggle family expectations with their desire to forge their own path in between college classes and falling in love. To his friends back home, Viet Ho is calm and collected and a lovable oddball who nurses an obsession with forensic science. He's relieved to head off to UC Davis and escape from being in the middle of his bickering immigrant parents. Yet on campus, and with the school year unfolding at an overwhelming pace, Viet struggles to belong and to keep his depression hidden. Evie Mai is a junior biology major and the eldest daughter who has never trod far off the beaten path. She has everything: good grades, a solid group of friends, and a smart, ambitious boyfriend who's the son of a well-connected university board member. But their busy schedules, as well as their interests, no longer align. Determined to close the distance, she and her boyfriend both apply to a student-run clinic for underserved communities. But will that save or expose the gaps in their relationship? Okay. And then somehow she's going to fall for Viet because fascinating. This sounds messy and probably not depressing, but like I don't see this being a rom-com. Then we have All the Tomorrows After by Joanne Yi, a captivating, heart-rending novel about a Korean-American teen navigating grief and first love who agrees to accept money from her estranged father in exchange for letting him get to know her. Right. Okay. Each night, Winter Moon counts her earnings. Winter Moon counts her earnings, dreaming of escape. Once she's saved enough, she and her grandmother can finally take flight and disappear. But when her spiteful mother steals her mother and blows through it all in one day, Winter is forced to turn to her estranged father, who recently reappeared in her life after being absent for more than a decade. They agree upon a simple contract. She spends time with him in exchange for payment. It's not easy reconciling the past and the present, though, and when she's struck with a sudden loss, Winter flounders in grief and rage. The only person offering a hand is June, the new boy at school who sees Winter when no one else does. Okay, it's definitely going to be messy and with all the feels. The 8th book in the new upcoming release section is The Possession of Alba Diaz by Isabel Cañas. I'm so excited for this one. I loved her first 2 books. And it says, when a demonic presence awakens deep in a Mexican silver mine, the young woman it seizes must turn to the one man she shouldn't trust. That's between like the cover, the title, and just that blurb. I'm sold. I'm so sold. Oh my goodness, this is going to be so good. Then we have Sisters in the Wind by Angeline Boulley, from the instant New York Times bestselling author of Firekeeper's Daughter and Warrior Girl Unearthed comes a daring new mystery about a foster teen claiming her heritage on her own terms. Okay. Ever since Lucy Smith's father died 5 years ago, home has been more of an idea than a place. She knows being on the run is better than anything waiting for her as a ward of the state. But when the sharp-eyed and kind Mr. Jameson, with an interest in her case, comes looking for her, Lucy wonders if hiding from her past will ever truly keep. 5 years in the foster system has taught her to be cautious and smart. But she wants to believe Mr. Jameson and his friend not friend, a tall and fierce-looking woman who say they want to look after her. They also tell Lucy the truth her father hid from her. She is Ojibwe. She has had a sister and more siblings, a grandmother who looked after her, and a home where she would be loved. But Lucy is being followed. What? That took a turn. The past has destroyed any chance of normal she has had, and now the secret she's hiding will swallow her whole and take away the future she's always dreamed of. Well then, okay, all right. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for all of these, obviously, but Firekeeper's Daughter and Warrior Girl Unearthed were just perfect books. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does with this one. Then we have The Golden Boy's Guide to Bipolar by Sonora Reyes. From bestselling author Sonora Reyes comes a poignant and searingly honest companion novel to the multi-award winning The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, following beloved character Cesar Flores as he comes to terms with his sexuality, his new bipolar diagnosis, and more mistakes than he can count. I absolutely loved The Lesbiana's Guide to Catholic School, and I also loved the character of Caesar because he's that main character's older brother. I think younger brother, but like a year or something like that. So I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Is it out already? Or I think it comes out. Oh, it just came out. September 16th. All right, I need to like get around to that fairly soon. 2 more books. The Eternal Ruin by Taija Sturma. This is the second book in the Immortal Dark trilogy. Vampires, black vampires, African vampiric mythology, dark academia, school setting, tortured souls, enemies to lovers, just doing what it needs to do. Really doing what it needs to do. I'm so excited for this book's release. Like, I feel like you just have no idea how excited I am about this book, and I might just have to like throw out everything else I'm reading once I finally get it in my hands. And the last book on this list, book 24, is Death in Jingguan by Mia P. Manansala. This is the 6th book in the Tita Rosie's Kitchen mystery series. Love this series, and I'm super excited. I think, does this come out in November or December? November 25th. Okay. Love is in the air for the citizens of Shady Palms, but Cupid's arrow isn't the only thing striking the town. Not with another killer on the loose. Things are looking up for the Bruja Cafe, and Lila Macapagal can't think of anything that could break the spell, especially with Valentine's Day coming up. She can't wait to celebrate with her boyfriend, Jay Park. Adding to the lovey-dovey atmosphere is Hannah Lee, Shady Palms' newest resident. She's also Jay's beloved cousin and chocolatier at Choco Noir, the latest addition to the town's culinary offerings. Everything is coming into place for Hannah, who left her old life in Minnesota behind to work at Choco Noir, owned by her best friend. Unfortunately, beneath the sweet surface of Shady Palms runs a bitter undercurrent, and a series of attacks against women-owned businesses in the area escalates from petty theft to assault and murder when Hannah is found knocked unconscious inside Choco Noir, and the chocolate shop owner is put out of business for good. Oh my gosh. With Hannah left in a coma, a murderer hiding amongst them, and the safety of the women entrepreneurs of Shady Palms at risk, the Park brothers team up with the Bruja crew to put a stop to the villain before they strike again. Okay, well then, there you have it. And those are the 24 books I'm trying to get to in the fall season. Thanks so much for watching. As a reminder, make sure to check out my Etsy shop to get yourself a bookmark, as well as my Bonfire shop to get yourself some nice merch, especially as we head into this cozy season. Sweatshirts, long sleeve t-shirts, hoodies, all the things. All of my socials are down below, including my Discord, my Instagram, and the links to become a Patreon or a channel member. And I will see you in another video. Bye.
Weakness showing, I ain't living for the moment. I see what's mine and I want it. Hungry like a Pac-Man. I'm Bruce Wayne and Batman. I'm Naruto with a Hanzo. Got a sharp mind like I'm Einstein. Putting copywriting so it's all mine. Check it for me, I'm